thinking what I'm gonna share tonight. And so I was trying to look back into the relationship I had and I still have with my wife. I said, I think I might as well share something that I have written about more than 10 years ago. So way back 17 years ago, I met my wife at a university campus. And during our relationship, we went through a lot of challenges in our life. And there was a point when I had to work in another country outside of the Philippines, of course. And during that time, Mads, there were other potential candidates. My wife was about 2 hours away by flight, right? By plane. And I came to the point in my life whether my relationship was worth it, whether I should push through with it. And at that time, I prayed to God, and after that I prayed, I was able to write a short article about why I love her so much. All right, so tonight I'm gonna share this with you and see if you should still push through with the wedding this coming Thursday. And this is not just for these two, it's for all of us. The title seems to be too strong, but there's a catch, all right, at the end. So I don't want you to be to take this too strongly. Let me read the 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 to 7. Love is patient, love is kind, it is not envious, love does not brag, it is not puffed up, it is not rude, it is not self-serving, it is not easily angered or resentful. It is not glad about injustice, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So that's one of our favorite chapters in the Bible. And in fact, we were told that we need to read that chapter at least once a day in order for us to develop that kind of love. So I've entitled this article as 10 Rules of Engagement. You know, even the army have rules for engagement. But I'm not talking about that kind of engagement in war or at war. This is about, you know, a couple who's engaged and who's about to get married. And so I thought, why would I want to marry this woman? So perhaps Matt, she could think about the same way. Why would I marry Chris? So number one, in that rule of mine, as I was pondering about it, number one, don't marry the person who does not make God first in his or her life. Well, of course, we're all Christians here, and we want to marry someone who does not believe in the God. Of course, who would want to marry someone who does not believe in the God you worship and who does not practice the Christian values you uphold? Spirituality matters most. You agree with me? Spirituality matters the most. God is at the center of all meaningful and successful relationships. I counsel a lot of people, and I tell you, as long as you keep God in the center of your relationship, no matter what the challenges are, you will be able to make it through. And that is always true. So don't marry the person who just goes to church. Marry the person who knows God intimately. Somebody who is really in love with God. And if that person is in love with God, I tell you, he or she would always be faithful to you no matter what the challenges are. Because, he would respect God and honor God in everything that he does. Number two, don't marry the person who does not make you first in his or her horizontal relationships. We have our vertical relationship with God, and of course we have our relationship with other people around us. So why marry the person who loves his or her talents more than you? Why marry the person who loves his or her goals and ambitions more than you? Why marry the person who puts more time for sports and other pursuits than you? So if you see a guy watching basketball the whole day, better to think twice before you marry the guy. But if you have already accepted that person to watch basketball for the whole day, or I don't know what's the sports, what's our Canadian sport? Hockey. All right. Then don't be surprised that after you get married, you find your husband sitting on the couch the whole day, not helping you with the dishes at all. So, don't marry the person who'd rather do something else than be with you. Marry someone who values his or her relationship with God and you more than anything else. So, marry the person who puts more importance on his partner's interests than his or her own. And the greatest gift you can ever give to someone is to give yourself. That relationship is to take precedence over anything else, over everything except that. Number three, don't marry the person you think you can live with. Mads? Don't marry the person you think. Now this point number 3 is one of my favorites. As I was thinking, should I really marry my wife, my girlfriend? And so, when I wrote this, I was really inspired. Here it goes. Don't marry the person you think you can live with. Marry the person you think you cannot live without. That's very important. Marry the person you can't live without. In short, marry the person you truly love. And up to now, I would say, Mads, each time I wake up in the morning, my day starts right because the woman that's beside me is a woman I really love. All right? Others marry for fun, several marry for company, some marry for convenience, quite a few for a committed love. So ask yourself, is he or she the person I really love so much that I cannot live without? You can answer that yourself. Number 4, don't marry the person who talks more about himself or herself than he or she can talk about you. Right? So a self-centered person brags about his or her achievements, her goals and success. A true lover always looks for something beautiful in his or her partner and never fails to discover and appreciate the unique and peculiar qualities of his or her love. He or she chooses to talk more in private and in public about his or her partner's characteristics than his or her own. You want someone who admires you, not himself or herself or your neighbor, right? So, I can definitely tell you, man, Chris talks a lot about you when we're together, all right? We don't spend too much time together though, so I believe you do the same. Number 5, don't marry the person who does not have a mature understanding of life's struggles and pains. This seems to be too strong, right? Now, only someone who has a deeper understanding of life's struggles can truly appreciate the value of relationships. He or she can grasp the true meaning of the realities of life, its discouragements and troubles, its mishaps and casualties. Marry someone who can show you what life is. Young people, marry someone who can help you develop a more realistic view of yourself and your personal limitations. Now, this is not a general advice. The reason why I married somebody 5 years younger than me was because at that time I was immature. I need somebody who would be, at my same maturity level, mentally, psychologically, emotionally wise. So marry someone who's already mature, and I think both of you are matured enough to enter into a relationship. Number 6, don't marry the person who's not sensitive to your needs. And I tell you, that's one of the struggles I had, at least with myself. My wife would always tell me, you know what, you're insensitive. Generally, most men are insensitive, right? Women, do you agree?
Yes.
See? That's true, whether you agree with me or not. Now, insensitivity leads to misunderstandings. Agree? Marry the person who can teach you to be more sensitive to his or her needs. Now, I know Chris, somebody who's very much connected to his feelings. Among my children, I think it's my eldest who's very much connected to his feelings. I recently lost my bike, my mountain bike. I have 2 bikes, and that bike to me is a bit special, just about 2 nights ago. And I seem not to care because, this is how guys usually think. Yes, I can finally buy another mountain bike, which is a lot better than this one, the old one I lost. But, my son came up to me and said, Dad, I really feel sad because you lost your bike. Right? So, he had that sensitivity there. All right, so where was I? I got lost. What number am I now? Number 6, right? Okay. So marry the person who can communicate with you or her ideas, plans, her fears, failures, and frustrations. And the way I look at this couple, they do that. Number 7, don't marry the person who's not quick to admit his or her error. The Bible tells us if you have some conflict, what do? Try to settle it before the sun sets. It's not really literal, but the emphasis there is you have to resolve it as soon as possible. I don't know with your relationship, but in some relationships, usually one partner goes quiet, silent, and then maybe the other partner tries to woo her, and try to take time to, make things better. But humility is very crucial in any relationship. Humility, meekness, and forgiveness. Before you judge your partner, are you quick to admit your own faults? The Bible tells us that before looking at somebody's plank in the eye, check first the log in your eye. Which is bigger, the plank or the log? Don't marry the person who thinks he or she has every right to judge others but not himself or herself. All right, 3 more. Number 8, don't marry the person who wants to become more of what you expected him or her to be than what he or she ought to be. Did you get that? Let me repeat it again. Don't marry the person who wants to become more of what you expected him or her to be than what he or she ought to be. Now, partners should be able to complement each other's weaknesses. And you will do that a lot. You have to complement each other's weaknesses and compensate. That's the word there. You have to compensate for his or her partner's weaknesses. Let me tell you. So it goes like this. Let me tell you who I am. So that's how you begin your relationship. Chris, you'll have to say this, and Madge, you'll have to say this. Maybe let's have this practice here. So follow after me. You can say this after me. Mention the name first. Look at each other and mention the name. Chris, Madge. Let me tell you who I am. I am good at this. Say it.
Good at mountain biking.
I am almost great at that.
I'm almost great at singing.
Alright, whatever that is. I am poor at this.
I'm poor at cooking.
And I'm embarrassingly poor at that. You don't need to mention it. Whatever it is in your minds, alright? And then say it. That's me.
That's me.
Here's what I think I can do here. Does that match up with what you expect me to do? Does that match up? All right, thank you. That's a simple exercise. So if he or she says yes, I accept you, then go for the bells with no questions asked. So did he say yes? Did she say yes?
Yes.
All right. So we can go for the bells this coming Thursday then. With no questions asked. In the end, each one should be able to say, I discovered what it meant to become more of me and less of what others expected. Did you get that, guys? Follow this rule and your life will not be under the mercy of other people who are trying to control your life. 2 more, then we're done. Number 9, don't marry the person who says, I love you, dear, but I'm not. How do you call each other again? What's your pet name? My love?
Honey, baby.
Honey, baby. Cupcakes. My love. Yeah. Sugar rush. All right, so don't marry the person who says, I love you, dear, but I am not ready to go where we need to go and do what I need to do because my life is not just to be your husband or your wife. I won't tell you who that person is, but I know of a couple who had to split because the wife enjoys her job so much and she had a good position at that company. She loves her job so much that she could not go where her husband is. Long story short, she could not give up her job and be with the husband wherever the husband goes. So eventually, because of that, they had to split. Here's what the Bible says. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. One flesh. This does not mean that both will now have the same favorite food, favorite color, and favorite movie. Relationships should not be characterized by competition, but by mutuality. It's by mutuality. Isn't it nice to hear your partner say, I love you, what was that again? What's your babe? Babe and...
Well, we have a few. Honey mushroom is one.
Alright, babe. Alright, honey mushroom, babe. I love you, and I'm ready to go wherever we need to go and do what we need to do because my life is to be your husband and your wife. So whether that's in BC, whether that's in the Philippines, or whether that's in the war-torn country of Afghanistan, go. Last. The last one is, don't marry a perfect person. All right? Don't marry a perfect person because you are not an angel. You are not an angel. Most of us are looking for an angel and not a husband or a wife. Don't ask for more than what you can give. Did you get that? Don't ask for more than what you can give. I want a husband who looks like Tom Cruise. But when you look at yourself, would you at least be able to offer the same qualities as well? Looking for somebody whose faith is so strong that he or she can evangelize the whole world when you yourself don't even pray to God. Looking for someone whose figure can be featured in the Glamour magazine when you yourself broke the weighing scale. We have to be realistic, be humanly realistic. No one is perfect. Love is a developed capacity. We have to remember that. Love is a developed capacity. It's not just something that... And love is something that we work hard for. And love grows in a home, and love loves imperfections. You see, when a couple is married, or before a couple is married, we usually just notice the 70% part, which is good. And during the courtship stage, we don't even mind the 30% part, which is usually negative. And then the couple gets married. And once they're married, what do? We begin focusing on the 30% negative traits and qualities and forget all about the 70% positive traits. So you have to remember, no relationship is perfect, no couple is perfect. Focus on the 70% and you will be okay. And we will all be okay. So if there's any husband and wife here who's also going through some struggles in life, always remember, put God in your life, focus on what is good, enjoy your relationship, and love will be something that you'll enjoy for life. God bless us.